You know, in life, you have to make sacrifices, yes? When you want something and you're passionate about something that you want, you have to make sacrifices. When I, a lot of us work hard, yeah? And no, listen to me, I understand situations in life. I understand the struggles, of family, raising a family. I understand the struggles of every day trying to survive. I understand the struggles. I've been there. Yeah, I've been there. And it is not easy. But so I don't want to come across as being insensitive to a situation that a family might be going through, right? I don't want to come across as if, oh, well, this guy, man, he has it all together and whatever. It was a struggle in life, man. It was a struggle. I remember when I left Grenada and I went to Toronto. Hey, it was a struggle, man. But one thing I learned from my time when I first emigrated, right? I was working at a banquet hall in Toronto, like just north of Toronto. North of Toronto, yeah. It's an Italian banquet hall. And they usually have lots of weddings there. Almost every Saturday, there's some functions happening there, right? I was working at that banquet hall. And in the springtime, summertime, man, that place is busy. I was washing dishes. I was helping out like with the kitchen staff. I One thing I learned from working at that place, right? The Italians, when they have weddings, you see like envelopes. And I remember one time this guy was like telling me, this guy who worked with me, he was telling me that the people at the wedding, they all was giving the bride and the groom an envelope with $700. I was like, eh? And he said, yeah, he said, that's how we do it. When you have a wedding, at the time the wedding is done, the bride and the groom supposed to have enough money to make a down payment on a house. It blew my mind. He says, yeah, he said, just look at all the guests that are here. If they have 200 people and each give an envelope of $700, it's a down payment for a house. So that blew my mind, but that left a profound impact on my life. I've seen it in other cultures, yeah, whereby the father would make a down payment on a condo or a house for the child. The parents would say, okay, the house that I bought is to build wealth for my family. I'm going to pass it on to my family. I've had friends on my job who said to me, oh, this house, the same thing, this house is for my family. I'm going to retire and I'm going to move back to my country. We blacks from the Caribbean, we hardly do that. It's very rare you would find a parents to make those type of sacrifices for the child. How do we expect to climb the ladder? How do we expect if you have your kids on the same level that you are, it's harder for them and it's harder for your generation who comes. Most of us who own houses, we said, oh man, this is my retirement. When I retire, we eager to sell that house, go back to our home country, build a house. Oh, I educate my kids, and that's it. It's up to them now. We don't pass on anything. Well, my parents didn't have anything to pass on to me, and I made it in life, so my children have to. No, no, I believe it's the wrong approach. We have to be able to work hard and to make sure that our generation who comes after us will have it a lot easier than we did. And that's how you break the cycle of like poverty in your generation, when you're able to make sacrifices for your generation yet to come. We don't do that often. We don't do that enough. We don't do that enough. And I believe it plays a major part in why we are still at the bottom. Because we have to be able to lift our children up. We have to be able to sacrifice for our generation. If you don't do it, who will? You must recognize that, okay, my parents may not have had it to do it for me, or my parents didn't do it for me, but I have to do it for my generation. So what I'm trying to get at, we're talking about making sacrifices, yes? When I knew for sure I wanted to come to Africa, to live here permanently. I don't know how it happens. I woke up one morning and all of a sudden I started to have the urge to come to Africa. And those of us who is from the diaspora, we don't think about Africa. Man, as a matter of fact, we have negative thoughts about Africa because this is the stuff that they feed us, right? The negativity. I remember when I first went to Toronto, man, in the late 80s, 89, 90, early 90s, you see on TV, man, World Vision. We need money for Africa. I know see on Saturdays, man, we were bombarded on TV with poverty. And you see kids with big bellies and, snot running down their nose and fly. That's what they showed us on TV. Hey, these people are criminals. These people are evil. All the time they were here, They are living here, enjoying the peace and the beauty of Africa. But then they're showing us poverty-stricken Africa. And we were consumed with all this negativity. And it created a dynamics in our mind about Africa. Yeah. So I woke up one morning, I just started to have the urge and I started to get more and more into Africa, researching and whatever, yeah. And I started coming here, Tanzania. And when I truly said yes, I'm going to answer this call and I'm going to move to Africa, I started to make sacrifices, yeah, because I needed liquid cash. You may have assets, but like I said earlier, you have to think about your generation yet unborn. You can't just take all of the assets that you have and say, oh, I'm going to go to Africa and to hell with my children. You have to think. You have children. They in turn will have their own children. What are you doing to benefit your generation to come? So I said, okay, I needed to have some liquid cash in my hands to come to Africa because these are the things I want to do when I come to Africa. Man, I have to make sacrifices. No. Yeah. I got rid of the car for 2 years. No car. For me, it was easier because I'm in Toronto and I work for like public transportation. So I didn't have to pay to ride the subway. I don't have to pay to ride the bus, whatever. For me, it was free. Right? So it was easy. And I'm in Toronto, an urban area. So getting around was easier. Yeah. It was easy. So I got rid of the car right there. I eliminated car payments. I eliminated insurance. I eliminated fuel. I eliminated insurance. I eliminated road tax. I eliminated maintenance to the car. Right there, guys. Just by getting rid of the car, I was able to save almost $1,000 a month. I started shaving my head because you see my head is bald, so for easier for me, I started shaving my head at home. I stand in the bathroom in front of the mirror. I had the shaver and I shaved my hair. In Toronto, that time was like $35 I pay when I go to the barber to get my hair cut once. $35. They add it up. $35 a week times 4. You'll see how much money you save, right? Little things like that adds up, yeah? I wake up in the morning. I will get up for work early, yes? Sometimes I have to leave home after 4 a.m. So it was easier for me to just go into the coffee shop and buy something and breakfast. By the time I'm done, it's like $7 I spent, yeah? I eliminate $7 a day. And even when I'm home on the weekend, I get up early in the morning and I still go to the coffee shop to have my early morning coffee and my bagel and cheese. When I did the maths, $77 times 7, right? And I add it up a month. So I got rid of the car. I I started shaving my hair. Guys, I love watches. I love watches. I own a lot of watches and cologne. Those are the things that I like to buy. Cologne and watches. I'm into those things, right? I didn't buy a new watch. I didn't buy any new cologne, right? I didn't buy any new clothes for 2 years, right? I didn't go to the movies for 2 years. I didn't go out to eat for 2 years. I cut back and I started to save all this money because I knew I wanted to have a certain amount of liquid cash in my hands that I can come to Africa with. It was not easy. It was not easy, but I knew this is what I want and it's up to me to achieve it. No one is going to give it to me. No, so a lot of us sit down and we waiting to win the lottery. We don't live by the 70-30 rules. We get what we get and we spend everything that we get. You have to pay yourself first. And it's something I learned earlier in life. And they were saying, when you work, even if it's 1 hour pay per pay package, you have to pay yourself. I was talking to an older lady in Toronto that I used to help. She was an older woman. This lady had over $267,000 in her bank account. And I asked her one time, I said, no one taught you how to invest this money? I used to take her, on a Saturday to go out and do her like little stuff and take her to the grocery store, whatever, take her to the bank to do what she had to do, yeah? And I said, no one taught you. Even the bank that you're banking with all these years didn't teach you how to invest your money. And she told me something, She said, Kerry, if you get 4 paychecks every month, you get paid every week, so you get 4 paychecks every month. She said, no, think of it this way. You only have 3 paychecks a month. Make sure you save 1 paycheck every month. And there are months that has 5 weeks. Don't touch that. So in the month that have 5 weeks, you're saving that 2 paychecks. This is something this old woman taught me, how she was able to save so much money. But I said, if you had invested that money, you would have had so much money now. So, so much money now. Guys, I told her, I said, if you invested that money, you'd have much more money right now. You'll be wealthier now than you just have all this money. And a lot of us black people don't know how to invest money, yeah? We don't learn how to invest our money, especially coming from the Caribbean, whatever. We were raised that you keep the money at home or you keep the money in the bank where it's safe. But we have not learned how to invest it. I heard some guys, which I talked about before. I heard some guys on the bus one morning. I was driving on Bay Street. And for those of you who's from America, whatever, Bay Street is like our Wall Street. Okay? So all the stockbrokers, whatever, I was taking them down to Bay Street in the morning. And one morning I'm listening to this guy's talk, right? And they were talking about investment. Oh, I never forget this. This guy said, I made $96,000 on this deal last month. The other one was like, oh man, I only made like $30,000. And I'm saying, damn. And I'm listening. I'm driving the bus, right? And I'm listening. And every morning this guy's, and I said, damn. I didn't know anything about buying stocks. Nothing. So I made sure I got my butt to the bank when I finished that rush hour shift, because I was back then I was working AM rush hours and PM rush hour. I got to the bank and I said, how do you buy stocks? And one thing you know, your bank have all this information that they can give to you for free. You can go out and you can find a financial planner, you can go out and you can find a broker, whatever, that you have to pay for. But your bank offer the services to you for free. I said, how? And they said, okay, we'll set up an appointment with you on a certain date. When do you want to come in? What time? We'll have somebody here to sit down with you and talk to you. I went in, I sat down with him, and I said, okay, he said he's going to do an assessment to know if I'm a risk taker or if I'm like more conservative. And we sat down, we talked, and he gave me ideas, gave me pointers. Okay, this is the like portfolio he made for me. In 1 week time I had to go back to see him. He gave me the like portfolio with all those like companies. How is he going to do it? How much money I want to start off with? Sacrifice. So you listen, you learn, and you apply the good things. So we don't educate ourselves when it comes to money. We don't educate ourselves when it comes to money. We have to learn, and we have to make sacrifices for whatever it is in life you want. You have to make sacrifices for it. And this is how, guys, I'm able to have some liquid cash in my hands to come to Africa. So my point is that if you want anything in life, maybe you may want to come to Africa. Maybe you may want to retire in a couple of years and said, okay, I don't want to live in North America anymore, or I don't want to live in Europe anymore. I may want to live in like Thailand. I may want to live in South America, whatever. You sacrifice for it. You think it was easy taking the bus for 2 years? I remember when I first shaved my head. I remember that clearly. When I first started shaving my hair, I didn't know what to do. I went to work, one of my good friends from Sri Lanka called me and he was like, Kerry, who cut your hair? I said, oh, I did it myself. He said, oh, that's why, because you you missed some spots on the back of your head, right? But I got better. Guys, there is a guy on YouTube I follow. Many guys on YouTube I follow who their whole like platform is about watches, eh? And when they talk about watches, guys, man, I remember this watch, man, the Hamilton, hey, Hamilton like khaki field, and there was a Longines watch. It was about $1,000 range. Hey, and I'm looking at these watches, man. I said, boy, I want to buy this, but I didn't. I didn't, because I was disciplined in what I knew what I wanted, and I was disciplined, and I knew that I was the one. You think it easy waking up in the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning in Toronto in the dead of winter? Hi, you guys know Canadian winter, and I have to go take the bus, whereby I can drive to work from my house. I can drive to work in 15 minutes. And then I have to take the bus. I have to take the like night bus, go down to 1 street, and then take the Wilson night bus over to Wilson and Dufferin, like where I was working. You think it was easy? So from a 15 minutes drive became a 1 hour travel in the morning early, because like buses, and if you miss one bus, sometimes you have to wait like half an hour for another one. So a 15-minute drive became like a whole hour to get to work, freezing in the dead of Canadian winter. But I knew this is only temporary. This is not permanent. And once I reached my goal, I was out of here. This is the African Jumbie. Thank you for watching this video. Leave a like. If it's your first time here, welcome. Karibuni sana. Please give the video a like. Please, guys, leave a comment now. You watch the video. I see many people watching my videos and don't comment. If it's just to say good video, if it's just to say, I don't like this, leave a comment, guys. It helps the algorithm reach more people, right? So give the video a like, leave a comment. Thank you for sharing with me as I continue to navigate Tanzania. I'm enjoying life, guys. You understand? I'm enjoying life. Sacrifices bring great reward. So I'm doing this just to show you that if you have plans of living North America, living Europe, to go wherever, you don't have to be Africa. If you plan well, if you sacrifice well, if you sacrifice, you can reach your goal. Thank you for sharing with me. Bye for now.